everybody, how do you do? How do you do, everybody, how do you do? Oh, you come to gym for fun and we'll get you on the run.
Hi, my name is Marlene and this is the Little Gym at Home. Today we're going to look at the concept of orientation and how all orientation begins in our body. We can only make sense of the world in relation to ourselves. As little human beings start to move, their world of spatial orientation and direction dramatically increases. And this forms the basis and the layering for symbolic language. So even though I can't say the words yet, I can know what it means and I can act like it. So we can show them, by being little narrators, what it means to be on top of something, what it means to be underneath something, and what it means to be next to something. So come with me today and I will show you a few fun ways that we can help our little ones to develop our spatial orientation. A very simple and effective way that you can help your little one to understand orientation at home is by using a brightly colorful towel and some sing-along songs. In the Little Gym, of course, we use some colorful parachutes, but this towel for this activity would work perfectly. We are going to sing The Wheels on the Bus Go Round and Round. We all know that, but it gives us a really lovely opportunity to show different concepts of orientation for our little ones. So get your towel ready. Start them by sitting them on your lap. They can also sit just on the floor if you're more comfortable like that. We just want to make sure that they are under the towel nestled in, and we're just going to start with the wheels on the bus go round and round, round and round, round and round. The wheels on the bus go round and round all day long. The wipers on the bus go swish, 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 swish. The wipers on the bus go swish, swish, swish all day long. So we've shown around and we've showed side to side. Now we can show up and down. The children on the bus jump up and down, up and down, up and down. The children on the bus jump up and down all day long. The horn on the bus goes beep, 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 beep. The horn on the bus goes beep, beep, beep all day long. Now once I have this colorful towel in front of me, I can use this towel to also teach them about that symbolic language and different concepts. So whilst I have the towel here, I can start on top of the towel. We can start to work on directional walks. So we know that going backwards and sideways for these little guys are completely foreign concepts, and we have to introduce it to them. A lovely way to introduce it to them, as we know by now, is through our little galloping steps. So we always encourage you to hold them nice and tight around their little bellies like this. And then you have this hand free to manipulate the little legs. So I can start by just stepping sideways for my galloping, and I can tell them again what I'm doing. I go step and slide, step and slide. Now the one thing you have to remember is that the one thing, if you go to the right side, your left part of your brain gets a good workout, and then the right part of your brain will control what happens to the left side of your body. So if I move to the left, the right side of my brain gets a good little workout. So this is some step and slides just sideways. If I want to make this a little bit more tricky, I can start with some stepping overs. So again, hold them nice and tight around the little body, and now I can step over with my leg. Look how I'm manipulating it for them to understand that my legs can cross in front of my body. Once I've done the stepping overs from side to side, oh, Bear's legs are a bit tricky. There we go, stepping overs. I can also see if I can encourage them to step unders. This might be a little bit easier if your little one can already weight bear, but stepping under means I can also step from behind. I step under. So I've stepped sideways, I've stepped over, and I've stepped under. My goodness, look at those legs. They look like pretzels. How wonderful is that? Once they've achieved that, you better give them a nice big cuddle, because that is quite a tricky thing for my brain to understand what's happening. Once I've done all the sideways walking, let's see if we can do a fun activity which is called a baby swing. For this one, I'm going to sit on my knees, make sure my core is nice and engaged, and you're going to put your arms under your baby's little elbows. You're going to grab their ankles and you're going to put the soles of their feet together. So they give them a nice little kiss and a squeeze. Then I'm going to lean forward onto my knees and I'm going to do a baby swing on top of this colorful towel. So I just go swinging baby, Swinging baby from side to side, side to side. If you get tired, just sit back, give them a little clap and a cheer with their feet. And if you feel a bit more adventurous and a bit more strong, you can swing them forwards and backwards for them to see and learn and feel the concepts, forwards and backwards, and even around and around. You will thank me for this later because it's a really good core workout for you. There we go. Sit them back, give them a clap, and that gives you a great ideas of so many of the orientation concepts that you can practice at home with a simple towel. Have fun. Right, so for this activity today, we've created a bit of a 3D doorway for you. I know you don't have these blocks at home, but you have a doorway. And from your doorway, you can dangle things. Something which is really easy to hang is either scarves, tea towels, just stick them up with some sellotape. If you've got some Christmas tree decorations, that's really, really helpful, the tinsel. And why are we doing this? Because screens and laptops and iPads, it's such a constant in our lives today. We can't get away from them, but they only offer our little ones a 2D image. That means that we cannot develop our peripheral vision and our depth perception on a 2D image. Things like this is much more important because this offers 3D imagery. So if you need that 5 minutes to go make yourself a cup of tea, then rather stick your little one underneath or next to something like this, which is a 3D imagery, which they can interact with. This will give them a really lovely understanding of their world again. So what I'm going to do here is I can put my little baby or little bear underneath it. They can now watch how the balloons are flying above, around them. They can start to interact with them. Even just watching it moving really, really help them to develop that depth perception, that peripheral vision. They can watch how close and how far it goes away from them. They can start to see if they can pull on it. They might want to test their own strength to see if they can pull it off. That's absolutely fine too. You can even stick them through on the other side and you can work with concepts of coming through it. You can see if you can get them to lie on their tummies. Can they from here be propped up? Can they see it? Can they dangle it? Really nice way to develop the spine as they're keeping their heads up because they're curious enough to kind of see what's going on around them. You can also have them just in front of it like this and see if they will start to interact. Can we start to hit it with our hands? Nice opportunity for me to develop both sides of my body with that bilateral coordination as I'm interacting with the balloons, watching them again. The visual of the eyes is constantly moving. I can also hold them up high and I can encourage them to kick it. I can help them by lifting up the little legs and see if I can kick it one leg at a time, just like that. There we go. And if all else fails, like I say, just let them lie down, let them watch it. We always say that the senses are the little scouts for the body. They will just lie and all the senses will go out into the world. They'll go and scout what is around me. And then they will see something that they feel like they want to learn more about. And then the sensory will kick in and they might start to reach for it, to try and bring it to their mouths, to try and figure out what is it that I have. And once they figure it out, they will move on to something else again. So what a lovely idea to get your little ones to nicely interact with something 3D. For the regular little gymmers out there, you will recognize this piece of equipment that we use in the little gym quite a lot for our baby classes. It's called the little P-bars. Now, obviously, I understand that you guys do not have a P-bar at home, and we're also not able to really go to playgrounds nowadays. So I'm going to show you how you can build your own little bar at home so that we can still practice all the skills that we would have practiced in the little gym. For this, you're going to need a broomstick, small broom. If you have a longer broom, that's absolutely fine too. You're going to need 2 small chairs. Obviously, if you don't have small chairs and you have only larger chairs, your bars will just be a little bit higher, and that's okay too. I'm going to put my 2 chairs across and I'm going to just balance my little broomstick on top. Now, once I have this little bars like this, I can do quite a few things. For the cruisers who's starting to like pull themselves up and who's constantly wanting to move around the coffee table, this is a really lovely way just to come and plop them on here. They can stand here, they can start to hold on to the bar. If you want them to really hold on to something, you can just gently put your little hands over theirs to teach them how to really grip onto something. Remember, when we get back into the gym, we want to practice those little hanging skills, and there's no reason why they can't hang from their arms from the age of like 4 months old. But it's more about the grip strength and for them to understand that they can grip onto something. So this is a lovely way to start showing them this. Here they can practice some cruising along, holding on to the bars or my broomstick as we go. We can scoop them up and we can do our little wheelbarrows that we've been doing in a few of our sessions. Remember, just support their little under their chest so that they don't smash their faces. In the beginning, when you start doing this, just remember they will fly like Superman because they just don't realize that they can put their arms down and weight bear on their arms. So this is a really lovely way. If you have someone at home, older sibling or other parent that can help them to guide their little hands down to the broom, they find that really helpful to understand that they can weight bear then from this position. If you still feel nice and strong, another fun thing that you can do with them is to rock them. We just do a little rockabye baby. So even if you just hold them underneath the little bodies like this and rock them, just so that they can see the broom or the bar in front of them, they might start to finally actually put their little hands onto it and hold on to this little bar as you do a little rockabye baby. Really lovely way for them to develop that spatial orientation, all those orientation concepts we talked about as they're rocking underneath and they come up and underneath and they come up. Right, I hope your bar is a little bit more sturdy than mine. Another fun concept that we can do with them is to encourage them to go underneath. So you can kind of like stick them underneath the bar and you can tell them we're under the bar. You can put something in front of them to encourage them to crawl underneath. If they are at a point where you can encourage them to really step over, then you can help them manipulate their little legs by teaching them that they can lift up their little legs and they can step over. That's it. So we've gone under and we have stepped over. So those are a few fun things that you can do just with your broomstick to pretend that you have a little bars at home. I hope you find that really, really helpful, and that will really, really help them as well to develop that hand grip strength that we really, really need for the fine motor skills development. So let's get playing with your broom bar. When we haven't had a chance to tidy the house and we find ourselves in the middle of a few random bits, don't despair. We see this as a motor planning orientation obstacle course. What can I do with all these random bits around me? For those of you who's got a little one that's really almost cruising and really wants to explore and being on his feet, this is a really lovely setup. All you need is something dangling. You got some keys, or in this case, I've got a scarf and a bell. And the reason why I do this is I need something shiny and something that makes a sound to entice them and to encourage them to move from one piece to the next. So how can we start this moving? With our little ones, we can get them to stand and start from the one piece. We're going to ring the little bell and get their attention and see if they can start to reach over to the other side. So all they want to do is to explore and to challenge themselves. We want them to see if they can hold on to this piece. Then I need to move my body. I need to see how far is the chair from me. Can I reach by myself to go around? Can I turn around even more and reach for the next part? All by just using your little bell to encourage them to move along until they have made contact with all the objects. You can see how great this is because some of the bits that I'm using is lower, some bits is higher. So it really helped me again with how much weight do I need to transfer, helps me with that depth perception, how far or near is something from me, how much strength do I have to apply to get myself around. If you can somehow get them all the way around this course to the right, then of course send them the other way as well. Encourage them to go to the left. If you need to help your little one with this, if they can't stand yet, you can just spot them around their little waist like this, and from here on encourage them. You might have to move their hands for them in the beginning. With Bear it looks a bit awkward because he doesn't have any hands or any arms, that's long enough. But if you just hover them and encourages them to move from one piece of whatever you have to the next, that's a really lovely orientation and a motor planning course for them. You could also, if it's sturdy enough, you can encourage them to walk and to step along it all. This again is great motor planning because some bits are lower and some bits are higher. I have to gauge how far and how near they are, how much force do I apply, and how much body control I have to show to stop myself and to prevent myself from falling or stepping off. If you need to help them again, spot them nice and sturdy around their little body, their waist, have your one hand free and say step and over. And just like this, I help them and I have to step onto something higher. Another great activity for them to have to learn how much force to apply. I'm motor planning all the way as I go along. And it's another way to get them around the course. The ultimate challenge will of course be if you stick them in the middle and you step out of the zone and have your shiny keys or your bells and entice them to come to you and see how they will problem solve to get themselves out of this little circle where they're a little bit trapped. If they can't move, they might just look at you, but the brain will really start to kick into action to understand how can I get out if I could move, even though they can't output yet, they can still think about it. So I hope this helps you with the really fun ideas of a nice motor planning course. I really hope that you've enjoyed today's session and that you find some of these ideas and tips really, really helpful to help you to develop your little one's orientation. And I bet you didn't even realize how gymnastics can help you with all of this. So we're going to finish today's session with one little last song. This is a really lovely opportunity to put your baby's body parts through some different activities or some different movements. So if you do not know the song, just copy the actions with me. Soon you will get the tune and you might actually sing along before you know it. We're going to put our little ones down and we start with flex your toes. And it goes like this. Oh, flex your toes and point your toes, feet apart, feet together. Can you wrap them in a bow? Can you make a neat feet sandwich? Call me on your neat feet phone and put them back together in your neat feet home. My name is Marlene and this is the Little Gym at Home.
It's time to say goodbye.